convinced that it was Leflix on Vertigo where I saw an AWP 5K that basically the Pela 5K reminded me of. I'm convinced of it. I could be entirely wrong. And Chad, if you remember the exact 5K that I'm thinking of, I do remember that it was on Vertigo. And if it wasn't Leflix, do let me know. But I have a suspicion. So she's definitely going to be on my radar here for this matchup.
Well, we're going to see an absolute onslaught right off the bat. And Endgame are going to be the ones really winning out from that situation. You can see them already smiling, happy with that initial confrontation. Question is, can they really push on and benefit on it over towards the B side? They're going to be jumping down. Some damage initially done to them. Headshots coming out. Goddess going to be laying down the law. Naomi peeking around the corners. They're going to be backed up for their playing, going in for a nice flank. Who is going to get dropped down? Nani doing a fantastic job. Headshots on two of the players. Leaving Nami in a difficult spot. 12 HP. USB in hand. Has an opportunity for B4 of just really clotheslines this team. All thanks to essentially Nani there. Able to really be able to shut down that position. Bomb has been picked up. This does allow potentially a plant and some extra cash, but the steps and plant has been heard, and Goddess is just going to be playing for time for her teammate to come up behind and really play the support. As soon as she goes in for the plant, they should just be going for the push. Takedown comes in, and that was a little bit close. But B4, very convincing towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a really good stabilization from B4. Obviously, Endgame start that round pretty strong, pretty heavy-handed. Lose a little bit of life early on, but they do manage to sustain a little bit. And then, yeah, you know, B4, as I mentioned, stabilize incredibly well. Once that control of bomb is lost, they also do a really good job of just maintaining that space and disallowing Endgame from being able to reclaim it. And so, of course, without Endgame having been able to plant, it's just pistols again. And B4 with a fairly strong force into this one, of course, as is their right after winning the previous round. But we do have a hero rifle available for Goddess, and if that gets lost, it could be troublesome for their long-term econ.
Yeah, I bet she's feeling fairly confident after how her and her teammates were playing that last round and the first round. So interesting to see if Endgame are going to be able to do anything in this situation. They have got a couple of upgraded pistols, 2 P250s, no more utility. They've used all of that at the moment. And now they're going to have to just push up fairly dry up ramp, and footsteps are now galore. They have been heard. Goddess is in a good position. Flash is going to be dropped out early. Smoke followed up. They're just going to have to go straight onto site. Smokes are just going to delay them completely, and they're just going to get mowed down. Should be fairly obvious in the direction that's going in, but can't really count them out until they're fully dead. Like I said, they do manage to get 1 kill, but unfortunately, that kill, it recovers the cash used for that pistol and does some economical sort of damage to the opposition, but otherwise, nothing really gained.
Yeah, I mean, on a pistol round, you can start to think maybe a team can bring it back for themselves when they've got maybe 1 or 2 upgraded pistols, maybe a little bit of utility. But because Endgame obviously go into that with no money, didn't really have any of that. So that went more or less to be expected. The fact that they do actually get a kill is great, all things considered. Now, of course, they are able to buy in. They're playing up against the bonus from B4. So they should have the advantage in that regard, and making a little bit of noise here over towards ramp. But I like this default, spreading out quite nicely, trying to draw out B4, trying to draw out that utility. The bomb has not made a decision yet, and there you go. Opening kill for Endgame. That could be exactly what they need.
Yeah, I mean, being able to push up in towards mid like that, getting that first initial kill on the player with one of the 2 upgraded weapons, it's going to be a little bit of a bittersweet moment for B4. They want to try and win this bonus round, get that in the bag. Nice 3-0 would be looking absolutely fantastic to go into that following round where they can upgrade as much as they wish. Do keep in mind, obviously, Younger is currently on $0 in the bank behind sandbags, or cement bags, if you will. V making her way up, or Vi, I might be getting that one wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. Julia in a good position with the MP9. Position is now known. Grenade has to be dropped out. That's going to do a decent amount of damage. That's actually huge. I think that's close to 60 damage across 3 players. First initial kills, while Younger does make it work. Over towards the A site now. B still in the contention. We've got 4 players looking to try and cause some beef up on over here. The rotations come through. They've realized they've been shut down on that aggressive push. All thanks to Poppins. one of the players who obviously got quite a big eye on Sam. Want to see what they're going to be capable of. More data damage. This is exactly the same as the situation yesterday with the LG Red, but it's going to be Nanny and Younger. They chime in. Managed to get a 3-piece. Last player goes down to Younger, and she was absolutely clapping them there. 4 kills.
Literally, as you were saying it, I was thinking, wow, this feels really reminiscent of map 1 yesterday, where Saints just were getting lobbed with utility so consistently. They were losing so much of their HP early on, so when the fights actually did happen, they were already so low that it was just cleanup. Now we're seeing something very, very similar from Endgame. Now, bearing in mind the economy has been against them, they didn't get the plant in the first round, so they've struggled to buy in, they've struggled to match firepower. So I'm thinking maybe in the next round we might see something come out from them, but here again, it's just going to be, yeah, a little bit of cleanup.
Managing to get that upgraded rifle will be nice, but they're going to have to succeed from that. It's going to be difficult. They're going to get smoked off, which now delays them. And as they've lost all kind of motivation. Not motivation, sorry. Momentum. Interest in their pop-ins. I'm not quite sure what that was. I think it was a slight smoke there on the camera. Like, yeah, hopefully the camera wasn't focused on me. Tatos go down, so it's B. The flicks as well, even with that upgraded gun, doesn't manage to achieve too much. Goddess going down, it's going to be affecting her bank, but they still buy.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world by any measure. Of course, with the rest of the team doing quite well to just keep in it and winning consistent rounds, you're not too stressed out at that point. Now, however, this is what I was waiting for, right? LeFlix has picked up that AWP. She's sacrificed any form of utility, so she's really going to be relying on the rest of her teammates to open up positions for her. Or she just goes really, really aggressively and hopes somebody peeks her. That works too. While the rest of the team tries to gain space elsewhere. She's all on her own, and that could be a little dangerous.
Yeah, I definitely would have wanted to see another one of her teammates there to back her up, as well as try and make use of that space that she created. She cottoned on that. Okay, well, she's now got that angled held, but she hasn't got a teammate to try and push up next to her. Poppins is going to be in a little bit of trouble up towards mid, as we see the T's push up from T mid. They do slow down for a couple of seconds, but not for too long. Sophia will be the first one to start pushing up. Utility in hand as you're peeking around that corner. Do you have to be a little bit careful on that front? Goddess holding tight over towards a ramp here. Flickers, she does Flicks does manage to get the kill. Would have liked to have seen that. Maybe we'll see it in a replay, but the push down ramp is not going to be working in the favor of the CTs whatsoever. They lose Goddess. Now in a 2-player deficit is really going to be painful. And Tata somehow coming up behind them. Actually pushed up over towards the B side. Going to be able to catch them off guard. Gets that first kill. Nanny has to go in for the trade. Gets a pickup of 2. 2 for 1. I'll take that any day. But unfortunately, you need to get more than that because Younger's going to be left in a difficult situation. They're going to know where she's coming from. Or at least the decent. Yeah, I mean, her footsteps were heard. So.
This was a really cool execute from Endgame. So they leave Sophia to solo push towards B while the rest of them kind of angle a little bit lower, give her some space to push out, and there's a little bit happening over towards ramp, making a bit of noise there. Again, spreading out B4 a little bit, but like I said, right, round 5, Endgame gets some money in their pockets. LeFlex has got the AWP in her hand. She gets an amazing opening kill, and they pivot off of that quite nicely. Unfortunately, they do lose a couple players there that they maybe shouldn't have, so that will affect their long-term cash, but for now, they're still in it. And they need to keep kind of leveraging that a little bit more. Now we're seeing that same kind of play with Sophia inching over towards B a little bit more, while the rest of the team is kind of staying in that lower spot, looking to gain a bit of space. Oh, but Vi getting taken out here, that could make things troublesome.
Can't quite see where exactly she went down on that front. I think it was a ramp, but I'll have to check in a moment. It's going to be Sophia getting a trade-off. Poppins does go down on the flex. I do enjoy the AWP. Would have enjoyed seeing that, but we'll have to wait and see on potential replays. Now holding up in towards mid. There's only 3 of them. Limited on utility, so keep that in mind. They've got 1 diffuse kit as well, so if they have to go for a retake situation, they're going to be in trouble. I do enjoy the discipline there from Sophia. She's not giving up on a position in towards that mid. She's holding it a little bit tight, making sure that they can't get backstabbed And if needed, she can try and go in for the push. Both these players are going to be pushing at the exact same time. They're going to catch each other off, and Nani turns the tables, gets the kill. Doesn't pick up any extra utility for Goddess. It's going to get pushed up again. There's going to be an aggressive push over towards the A side now. Flashes first out, going to be coming out. They swing out a little bit too wide, but they still manage to get the kill. Julia with the trade, but quickly mowed down. Nani left in a 4v2 situation. They should have a decent idea as to where she's going to be. Incendiary grenade does go down. Doesn't stop the plant. She almost gets that kill, Sam. Almost, but missed it by 10 damage. Staying alive, though. Dancing, screaming. On top of her lungs. Turns around, gets the spray. Out left in a difficult situation. Goes down, and LaFlix just can't quite, well, get the flick on that kill. Fantastic play by Nani.
Look how calm she is, man. I love that. They got a little bit of a smug, kind of cocky smile there going as well. A little bit of a jump peek to lure LaFlix out as soon as the shot comes through, the re-peek, knowing that she's got a little bit of a time window. Really well played there from Nani. Bit of a fumble from Endgame, but yeah, well, these things do happen. I think, again, possibly there's that nerves kind of setting in. We're seeing kind of in the mid to late round where Endgame kind of struggle a little bit to maintain control, maintain composure, start to make a few small errors, especially when they find themselves in a situation where they only have a slight advantage or already at a disadvantage. So that ability to stabilize is going to become key as this map goes on.
Yeah, that was really well played by B4. Endgame going to have to do better. It's pretty simple on that front. They should have won that 2v1, but alas, they weren't able to. Fantastic play by Nani. Now we do see a lot of presence towards A ramp, but we could see a little bit of a switch around momentarily. Just going to be waiting in the moment. Still a force to be reckoned with over towards the A site. Poppin's going to be peeking around the corner, potentially a little bit too aggressive, but sitting on over towards these bags would be a good position. Does spot one, gets the kill. No spray going to be going out against her. Her footsteps might give a false sense of security here. You can see, obviously, we still have Goddess over towards these cement bags. And now they've heard those footsteps rotate on over. She can potentially find an extra kill here. Peeks around the corner, helps her teammate get one. Looks in for the second one against the AWP player. Can't quite hit it, and unfortunately, that is going to cost Nani her life. The flicks with the molly goes out. Unfortunately for her, the swing comes through for Goddess. Picks up a nice two-piece, and the younger takes out Vi. What is that?
Did Goddess really wipe out 4 players from Endgame with a FAMAS? Did that really just happen?
I think it was 2 kills, right?
Was it 2? Well, either way, it was far more than I expected it to be. Because
no,
of course,
it was 3.
Yeah, it was 3. Okay, I was close. Because that first kill from Poppins, I like the fact that there isn't kind of overconfidence there, and I think a lot of that plays into what you were kind of saying, where Goddess keeps that position, kind of lulls Endgame into a false sense of security. But Poppins could very realistically have possibly, you know, tried to push for a little bit more. But instead, she pulls back and she creates a good opening for her team. And what is this pistol?
Who knows? What is going on?
What is happening?
I'm not quite sure what to say about this. Just ignore it, and we'll pretend it doesn't really exactly exist. There we go. We're back into it now. Pissed around, fairly interesting. Somehow going to be down to a 2-on-1 situation. Goddess gonna have to pull off some Goddess. Moves it, misses her initial shots, and unfortunately that's going to cost them the round somehow. Endgame's come into this and clutched it out. It was all over the place. It was zooming forward, it was zooming back, you know?
we had the zoomies, man.
Yeah, it was like time travel was happening, like in an Endgame.
I will say that does kind of feed into what I was saying a little bit earlier on, where it's like you can sometimes think that maybe a pistol round will go in a different way because you've got slightly upgraded pistols, you've got a little bit of utility, as opposed to what had happened obviously in the second round of the game where you had realistically nothing. So this is one of those moments where Endgame do kind of take advantage of the fact that they've got a little bit of that util available to them. They take a far more aggressive approach, which B4 really were not expecting. And that is, of course, the nature of why a lot of teams lose anti-ecos. They're not expecting the team that is ecoing to do some crazy shenanigans. Or you're expecting it, but you're not necessarily fully prepared for it. And so Endgame, yeah, take good advantage of that. Now they're able to buy in again. LaFlix has got the AWP in her hands. We are definitely going to need to see a little bit more out of that. Obviously, with only 3 kills so far, definitely expecting a bit more power, a bit more prowess, especially if they want to close this gap. As we mentioned, they do need a little bit more to feel that little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw it back to Nani's clutch. She'd actually tried fake flashing it, but overpeats it slightly. But it's still actually that ended up winning her that round. But I just seen that live on the current Twitch stream. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Anyway, moving onwards and upwards, we got B4 versus Endgame here. Pushing towards this mid from team mid. Sophia's going to be the first one to meet head on with them. Gets the first kill, but going to get traded out if she's not lucky. Down to 9 HP. They're going to be running after her, unfortunately. Decides to try and not take the fight. Tries to back off, and that's going to be costing them the life. The spam comes through, but Goddess is going to get slightly tickled, but 89 HP left. They're going to be pushing straight into a process here with the... Oh, that is unfortunate. That's fantastic use of utility from her teammates there. The flicks, allowing her to go into that push. And now, Julia Poppins. See if they can pop off on this front. It's going to be a difficult situation for players from the side of Endgames. Looking to try and take this control. AWP in hand for the flicks. They still want this site? Yes, they do, but Poppins is going to be trying making it as difficult as possible. Takes out one, and Tata is tagged down heavily. The bomb makes its way on over. You'll be seeing that the spam come through. It's really a bit of like a case of the game of chicken at the moment. How far do these CTs decide to try and push it? They have got a smoke. That is going to be key for them to be able to try and win this, but it's going to be the last player left alive, and Poppins, unfortunately, just can't pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, solid one there from Endgame. You know, I kind of spoke about how the mid to late games, they were struggling a little bit if they had only a slight advantage. 3 versus 2, and you definitely think that that should favor them quite heavily, but we've seen B4 be able to come back from those disadvantages. They've really been good at stabilizing. So this was a great showing from Endgame. Nice little bit of util usage as well, the smokes and the flashes, just to keep B4 at bay for as long as possible. Make sure that they're able to get that bomb down. And then, of course, V getting the final 2 kills of the round just to secure things. And now B4 down onto a pistol. I mean, they've been looking so solid in the start of this, and they find themselves in a rough spot and still get the opening kill of the round. Okay.
And maybe a little bit too overconfident on that front. Gonna get pushed down. Does give a Mac 10 over to the opposite side, but you know, they've managed to pick up another kill. Should pick up a... No. What's going on? Third one with just USPs at this point. They get shredded. Finally though, Sophia's got something to say about it and is actually able to get some kills. Now it's going to be Younger with the Mac 10. Box of bullets. See if she can throw this hard at them to do enough damage. Jumps around the corner, position well known, documented and flicked on by the flicks. Honestly, what the hell's going on there, B4?
That was such a wild round. Honestly, it was kind of difficult to keep track of. It was very similar to Endgame's pistol round as well, where they were just kind of going in overly aggressively and getting far more value than they should have. But it's even more egregious because, as you mentioned, B4 just had USPSs. Like, they should not have been winning those duels. But they do manage to do so. Unfortunately, not able to secure the round.
And smoke cams, everything. Love it. Now the push is going to be coming up through, and well, they're going to be trying to reenact what they did with the pistol round all that time ago. Like you mentioned, Goddess going to be getting a kill through the smoke. Nice trade-off. Just to try and peek around this box, see if any of them go along that skywalk, but it's not going to happen. Not yet. 2 kills through the smoke. That's going to be frustrating. An extra smoke in the back for them. You've got a player holding up their rear. Looking to make sure they don't get pushed on. Nami managed to get that kill. Flash out from Goddess. 3v2 rather. Make that 2v2. The kills come in and the backstab really just absolutely demolishes them, and they know exactly where this player is. So we're going to be seeing Nami just get slammed down. That was unfortunately a fantastic play from B4, and Endgame just a little bit lackluster.
That retake was so good. Really, really impressive stuff from B4. Love how, you know, controlled they look every time they enter in towards the side. You know, even when there's so few of them still left alive, the util usage is fantastic. They push in together, they win their duels, you know, playing together as a team, right? Not allowing themselves to get solo peaked or you know, separated. Oopsie. Don't worry, nobody saw that.
No one at all. I will say for that last round, they weren't holding their rear. They weren't protecting the back there, so they got backstabbed. Fairly deserved when it comes to it. Nami was in the wrong position, holding T mid, and mid instead. Poppins gonna be holding mid. Talking about mid. Yeah, it's got a Famous though. It's going to be unfortunate. The boost comes through. Fantastic place. I love that. Good approach to try and get this mid control, but there is knowledge now that there is a heavy onslaught of players going to be coming in through this mid position, but they're going to have to meet up against Julia, who's going to be able to pick up one. They now know where she is. They managed to just take her down. She's a little bit too eager. Younger with her own M4 gets one, but Tata with a nice trade-off. And this does look like it's in favor of Endgames, but we've seen this before, Sam, where they've been looking so good, but they've dropped the ball a little bit too soon. And that damage on that util is, again, just giving me flashbacks of CLG. So the push is going to be coming through. Nani going to be coming in from one side. Both going to get absolutely demolished. And that's what we want to see. Where was that the previous round?
Yeah, that was much better. Playing anti, making sure that you're not getting flashed out because you're expecting that retake to come in. I suppose you learn from trial by fire, as it were. So second time around, it's not going to happen twice. And well done for them to make the necessary adjustments and adaptations. Now it's B4 who find themselves in a bit of a tough one. They're still all right. I mean, 7 rounds, even if they don't get another round on this half, 7 is not terrible to go into your T side with. They'd like a little bit more if possible, but it's definitely doable. Unfortunately, now they're back down onto, pistols. So, I say unlikely. I mean, they very nearly ecoed a couple rounds back. They might just be able to pull out the same nonsense again.
I'm interested to see if they can do it. And I mean, that was a decent opportunity for them to try and take really punish the economy on Endgame. So they could do it again. This could be the 6th round, though, for the side of Endgame. So one away from them being an equalizer. Have to wait and see. A couple of Deagles here. Smoke as well, one of the players on the side of B4. But, I mean, honestly, this should really be in the bag here for Endgame. Another round on the board, but it's not over yet. I haven't started singing. Goddess holding this corner. Similar position she's held multiple times. Early Smoke is going to be a slight delay for them, but only for so long. And he does get dropped to teammate. I think he actually dropped all the way down there. Never mind, it gets pushed onto the site. Nami does get taken out by those Deagles. Well, this is what we're talking about. The USP comes in hand. Yes, the headshot, but not the kill. 33 HP left on Vi. Younger, Deagle in hand. She's already managed to get one. Here's the bomb plant going down. And unfortunately for her, the Flix is there. So is Maddie. Picks up one. A nice trade-off versus the AWP player.
Trying to take some of that cash away, but we're basically approaching too little too late territory. Penultimate round in the half here. Endgame are going to be fine this round and the next. So no huge issue here. And it's really B4 that kind of have to step things up a little bit. Bit of a force into this round. And that's kind of going to need to pay off for them. Obviously, into the next round, they're not going to have ideal cash, so they're going to come in with a far lower buy than what they would be, comfortable with. So this round definitely has to pay off for them if they want to have something into the next.
See if they're going to be able to, have anything paid off. It's got a slightly different feel to it, I think this round has. There's no initial kill right off the bat. There's a tiny bit of damage. In total, nearly 20 damage, but that's nothing. That flash, had some utility, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really achieve too much. There's no push getting set up for it, so no real effect here. Flix is still holding that ramp angle. Very sharp. Vi is waiting to be able to try and push up. The bomb has been picked up. Looks like they are going to be making a little bit of a switcheroo over towards the B site, where there is actually a 2-player stack plus 2 in towards mid, which can go for a rotate fairly quickly. You can see they're looking to clean out team mid to make sure they can know where to go. And Poppins is going to be left there holding that angle. It's a fairly well-known spot to hold. Molotov should go out towards it. It's actually going to be at the back of site. Flash going to be coming out. That's going to be the first kill. Goddess does fall down. And the entrance is coming through. The Flix misses her jump, lands outside the building, and it's going to fall to her death. And now Poppins picks up a nice 2-piece. Sophia's going to be picking up the AWP. Molotov's going to be going out, but has to rethink about it just in time. I don't know, teammate going to be in a bit of trouble. They're not having much luck here with landing either themselves or their utility onto the site there. I'm interested to see what the hell happened with the Flix.
I remember now one of the other reasons that Vertigo stuck out so much in my mind for South America. Last season, we saw at least 4 players fall off the map. Not in the same series, but I think we maybe had 2 in one series. Yeah, it happened fairly often. And look, more often than not, it's because they're flashed out or something to that effect, right? So it is a little bit more difficult. Yeah, that generally is the case. So it's understandable, but still very unfortunate. And I said that Endgame would still be all right coming into this round. Well, that's marginally true. Unfortunately, Sophia just has a deagle, and they have to be aware Younger has an AWP in her hands. So looking to really shut this one down and take the 9-6 at the end of the half.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Younger's going to be able to do with this. I thought it was going to be a bit more faster paced round. We're going to be seeing it start to speed up now. Sophia with the deagle looking to hit these shots. Does initial damage, but not really a fantastic trade for them. But the peek around the corner is going to be coming through. Tartar's going to be able to pick up one. Vi's going to be on site, looking to take them down, but Younger's going to shut them down with Poppins at hand. Now we're down to a 2-on-4. In a matter of seconds, but the spray comes through. Tartar, what are you doing? Absolute beast, but Younger with the AWP going to be making quick work of the opposition. Now these 2 players are going to be close and personal, but Younger going to be holding the angle with the AWP. That scope was heard. I mean, you knew that was second half of Endgame versus B4 Esports.
Yeah, that first half was definitely something. I think B4 conceded a few more rounds than they'd expected to. I think Endgame maybe didn't quite live up to my expectations of them on this map, considering how well they did the last season. But they got 6 rounds on their T side. Now on the CT side, this could be their moment to bring it back.
Oh, let's see if they can pop off and really go up against B4. The Flicks, one of the star players we talked about. Absolutely fantastic with the AWP. See what she's got with the USP this time round. Poppins and the teammates going to be pushing up. Nani included. Nami on the other side is going to take down Goddess through the smoke. Absolutely beautiful. The Flicks and Vi is going to have a pressure onto them right away. Poppins and Co going to be right on this smoke. They're actually going to get flashed themselves. Unfortunate for them. For the Flicks is going to be able to get those 2 kills. Very nice. Julia going to be up close, trying to hit these shots, but her crosshairs are just not lining up whatsoever. A little bit of a bad aim moment, but you know what? Good attempt. They got the bomb down, Sam. So that's some extra cash in the bank, but that's a good sign from Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a good round for Endgame to come out on top of. They obviously take a slightly more passive approach to the CT pistol round than what B4 did. B4 obviously really kind of got in their faces, completely denied that plant from happening whatsoever, and then still won the round. This time, however, Endgame, they give up a little bit of that space. They put themselves into more of a retake scenario, and they do a really good job of maintaining that. They also know with their slightly better pistols, you know, they kind of want to convince B4 to take those shorter range fights, so to speak. And so as they push out, there was a great little flash there that ended in a 2K for Endgame. So yeah, they do give a little bit of cash over. I do like that B4 are not getting greedy with their spend. You know, 2 deagles. Okay, there's 2 AKs.
What do you mean? That's very greedy by Sam. But I like
it. Could be worse.
They have $200 in the bank. Oh
no.
Okay, well, that is unfortunate. Seems like Sophia potentially has crashed, so we might need to see a round restart on this, if I'm right in saying. We'll have to wait and see what is going to happen on this front, but I just want to go, like, bring it back to that pistol round. Oh, yeah, we're gonna either we're seeing a restart, all these players have just had enough. They're on Vertigo, they've had enough of the office work. But no, back to that flash. It was unfortunate because, I mean, the Flicks was given essentially an extra kill there on Poppins because they were team flashed.
Yep.
And I think that was potentially the cause of the downfall. But obviously, we did see, Nami actually managed to get a couple of kills herself with the USP. But it's not too much to talk about on this front, but any expectations?
I'm kind of hoping that Endgame are going to be able to bring things back a little bit. Obviously, with this being their CT side, that is somewhat the expectation, that they'll be able to string a few rounds together, maintain some control, a little bit more so than maybe what we'd seen in the first half, because they did do reasonably well in their first half. I will give the credit where it's due. I did say that they weren't necessarily performing as well as I'd expected based on their performance in the last season, but they're still performing quite well. They still had a relatively good T side, all things considered. So they've got a perfect opportunity here, particularly off the back of winning that first pistol round, having that little bit of cash in the bank. And if they can win this round, if they can win this little bit of a force, take themselves into a strong bonus, then, you know, there's a good chance for them to bring it back.
Awesome. We have been told that one of the players unfortunately timed out, as you know, does happen from time to time. So we'll have the game restored to 7-9 rather at the beginning of it. So the players can start fresh, and maybe they won't get so greedy in their buy this time. Maybe they'll buy something else. And I will say as well that the incendiary use, I think, who was it? I can't actually remember which player it was who used it, but in towards team mid was absolutely beautiful on spot, and it really is a good point of denial versus the oppositions, and that sort of push up in towards that mid position, especially if you're thinking that they might have a bit of a YOLO like pistol buy round or force buy into the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what they were planning to do though with those. Was it 2 Deagles, Mac 10, and 2 AKs?
And 2 AKs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be curious about that as well, because obviously, look, you expect them to force up a little bit after being able to get a plant, but it becomes that kind of high risk, high reward. And if it doesn't pan out, then they're in a really, really tight spot. Even if they lose a couple of players, so long as they hold on to the AKs, they're still going to be okay if they can win out the round. But best case scenario, like this needs to be a really, really solid round for Endgame. For B4 to come out on top of.
Yeah. And I just saw the first initial kill actually versus Goddess in that pistol round, and yeah, that was a nice shot. A little bit of luck included in it, I'm not gonna lie, but it was still a fairly nice shot. So it's on point. I really do enjoy the pistol rounds, seeing what the players are able to do with the sort of like raw pistol power, but more interesting to see what they can go on through this, because obviously 7-9, it's not ideal for Endgame, but they are currently on the upper hands. They have the upper hand, rather. Mm-hmm. These upgraded weapons from the opposition could really create some difficult moments, obviously, for the opposition for Endgame if they're not careful. So,
just for what it's worth, a little update if anyone wasn't aware. No Fear actually managed to take down Entropic. It was a 3-map series, and some of those maps were really close. First one went into overtime 19-16, and then that was in favor of No Fear. Entropic came back with a 16-10, and No Fear ended out with a 16-14. So very, very closely contested there. I think that finished out sometime in the first half of our map. So yeah, that's EU having played out all of their matches for days 1 and 2, and it's brackets shaping up quite interestingly, I must say. You know, Entropic and Ninjas in Pajamas at the bottom, having lost their opening matches, could be surprising. Also looking at Astralis, but you look at Group B, and I mean, you got Astralis, you got Navi, you got Big. There's some really, really solid talent there. So yeah, I'll be keen to see how the rest of the season shakes up. Yeah,
that is a big group. Not gonna lie on that front. I mean, if we look at obviously SA at the moment, we're in Group B. Before esports and Endgame esports, we do obviously have Independence and MIBR, two obviously well-known teams within the scene. So to see, and you know, we are going to have a slightly broken HUD. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it. It'll be fixed after this one. But let's dive into this 17th round.
Math
16?
18?
17th round. Ignore that what it says at the top of the HUD. It should be 17th.
Oh, okay, I get you. That's why the HUD's broken. Yeah. Gotcha. 17th round. Buy is still exactly the same here from B4. Just tossing out some nades for some free damage. Love to see it. Looking to get a little bit of that control, but I like, again, how Endgame have spread out here. Looks like they should be ready to respond to whatever movement B4 decides to make.
Sophia making her way in towards mid, seeing, you know, if anyone's going to be pushing in, and unfortunately for her, yes, there's going to be a whole gang of them. There's going to be a deficit on the side of Endgame now. They're going to be in a bit of a spot of trouble. These upgraded weapons have now just turned even more dangerous, especially if you take into consideration that Tata and Nami both have, well, an MP9 and a FAMAS. And Leflix is going to be down to 57 HP. This rotation has come through. They're trying to see if anyone's playing a little bit sneaky, playing up behind them. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case, as they're able to cleanly push up over towards B. Now, they can have an opportunity here. Tata is going to be up close and personal. Nami as well, on site. She's got the Fammer, so at least they have a rifle here. The utility is a little bit lackluster. Executions coming in. This is absolutely fantastic from their side. They push out the players. They take them down. Nami is able to take down one. Has to recover from this, though, as their teammates are coming on through, but you can't really see anything because the smoke, the flicks, takes down Nani. Then now it's looking all terrible for B4. Almost been lost. Younger Goddess, last two players left alive, and they're just going to be falling like flies.
Like we said, right, that was always going to be a bit of a high-risk play to buy into those AKs. And Endgame, you know, you got to remember this is their map pick. This is one of the maps that I associate with this team. That, you know, when we came into this, I was like, yeah, you know, we're likely going to see Vertigo. So it isn't surprising for me to see that they are doing quite well here. But, of course, very similarly to what I'd said in our first half, you know, first few rounds, if you lose that pistol, you're going to struggle a little bit with that economy. So B4 still do have a few rounds to try to bring things back. And, of course, they came into this half with that tiniest little bit of wiggle room. But there's potential here for Endgame to hit double digits first. So B4 going to need to step things up a little bit.
I was fairly interested to see how that last round was going to go. This time, I think it's fairly obvious the way it's going to go. Leflix could end up falling here if she's not careful. She's just there alive. They do lose one player, but honestly, not too much of an issue. That was a good opportunity for B4 to be able to try and recover a weapon. Didn't quite happen, so we are going to be sitting at a 9-9 score line. I'm not quite sure if that's correct. No, we'll have to wait and see. Because I thought that would actually be 8-9 because it was 7-9 originally. So I'll give them a poke. Maybe the hurdle will be fixed after this round.
Yeah, so it was 9-6 at the half, and then Endgame won the pistol, so it was 9-7. They won the force, so it was 9-8, and that was the force, so it is 9-8. Okay. Yes,
Quick
maths. Yep. They tell you to never do maths on stream as a caster, but sometimes you kind of have to. So I'm glad that I did the maths correctly. And no, we're not staring down the barrel of double digits. We're staring down the barrel of a tied-up score line. But of course, B4 able to buy in here should have a good opportunity. Again, you know, if they lose out on this round, it could be pretty hectic on their economy going forward.
I think they have a solid. Yeah, I think they have a solid opportunity to be able to take this. There you go, Julia.
Perfect.
Gets the first kill. They've shown some really solid executions. We obviously saw them with limited utility on that last round, but they still did absolutely fantastic on what they managed to achieve. Even if they didn't win it, they still did really well. And now they're going to be pushing up the top of the ramp. They managed to get a kill from the bottom, rather. Sooner grenade goes out from Vile, VR, but it's not really going to achieve too much. Might burn them slightly if they decide to play a little bit too aggressive, but 5-3 situation. Two players on the A site. Now they're going to have to try and defend against an onslaught of these players. Goddess going to be the first one peeking in with her teammates over towards ramp. And this Molotov is going to be burning them alive. Poppin's absolutely fantastic with that utility. Upgrade to the AK does come through. And Vi is looking to just run home. Run all the way home squealing.
Again, just that economy deficit, right? It's such a difference maker. And this sounds like probably the most forehead thing I've ever said. But when you have money, things go better. Able to buy in quite nicely. Of course, you have to kind of couple that with solid fundamentals. And I think that that's what B4 have. They've done a really good job of maintaining control here. And so, yes, so you add a little bit of cash onto that. You add proper weaponry. And they do seem to have a very strong grasp of, you know, what they need to be doing from round to round. And now, you know, I was kind of a little bit concerned for B4's economy going into this next round, but it's Endgame who find themselves in a possibly precarious situation here. So obviously they've lost this round. They're obviously going to be able to buy in, but if they lose this round as well, then, you know, their economy is more or less busted. So this is important, I think, for both of these two squads. B4 can at least take a slight breather here, but even they're not out of the clearing just yet.
Not at all. So, Endgame going to be in a little bit of trouble. They really want to try and clutch onto that round. But like I said before, once they start buying and having full utility, the executions are going to be coming through fairly strong against the side of Endgame. And yeah, they were just looking very, very nice on that front. So this round should go in the favor of B4. Obviously, having these pistol service, it's not going to be ideal. We have seen more done with less. But I think it's going to be super difficult going through this one. So we'll have to wait and see. Apparently the score line is correct, but I don't know. I'm going crazy, I guess.
See?
Oh, there
again,
we go.
that's why I shouldn't have done maths on stream.
Yeah. Don't blame me. I'm looking at it. I don't think it's right, but we'll see. There's going to be a couple of kills here. One does come through, actually. Oh, almost the second one, but Younger's going to stay alive, 19 HP. So that was a good attempt, Vi, but it doesn't really turn into anything. So now they have to buy into this round.
Good call, I think, from Endgame not to force into the previous round, because they could have come out with something serviceable, but rather take the hit and make sure that you can come into this next round with a little bit more firepower behind your names, especially when you know that you're getting next to nothing because you had just won a round and then lost a round. So yeah, good call. And of course now LeFlix is going to have that AWP in her hands. We've seen what she's capable of doing with it. Need to see that come through again here as B4 are starting to pull away again, and this starts to become a little bit worrisome for Endgame.
Shots through the smoke. Doesn't really achieve too much, but you're not going to be giving away where your presence is, and those M4 is going to be using a lot of your capacity of bullets. And they've slowed down a little bit here on the side of B4 Esports. Trying to find the first initial pick, play a little bit slower up towards the A site to try and missell this, I think, from the looks of things. And that confidence in that smoke, she doesn't even check behind her. She just backs straight into it, doesn't care at all. Watching those sandbags, and now it's going to be Nani with the kill. Absolute beast. Cool, calm, and collected, this player. Nami goes down, but, you know, reflects. She's going to be able to try and get a nice trade off here. Oh, Poppins. Oh,
Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that.
I think we've seen a few failed, you know. Maybe the nerves are getting to her.
Could be.
That's what I see. But anyway, resetting this back up. Before, have lost a couple of players. They're going to have to boost up onto site, I'd imagine, on this to try and benefit from it. They might do a triple stack. Do keep in mind, I mean, Younger has got the bomb. So it depends on who they want to boost up first of all. Peak is going to be coming through. They do miss the jump. A little bit embarrassing, but they can fix that momentarily. Sophia and LeFlix going to be on site. Last two players left alive, and they're going to have to try and make this work for them as the push comes in. LeFlix gets the first kill, and now the rotation has to come into play. Never mind, they're dedicating to it. That was interesting. I mean, Younger, Julia, they're just like, nope, we're going to go gung-ho on this. They don't have time to go for the rotation. The bomb is going to get dropped, and now 1v2. LeFlix with the AWP. Shots down the final two players. And that was a four-piece.
She looks so happy, bless her. Well, wasn't the 1v5 clutch that I was expecting, or that I was hyping up, but hey, we'll take it. 2v3, and she gets every single one of those final kills with the AWP. Sure. We absolutely take those. Round that Endgame needed to come out on top of, as we mentioned, for the sake of their economy. Yeah, we'll have it replayed again. Good repositioning from her as well. I mean, we saw that flash come out. It forced her to have to pull away, and she kind of uses her teammate a little bit as... Oh, no. Oh, LeFlix, no. Goes for the aggressive angle and is instantly punished.
Sophia shut down as well. Endgame's going to get absolutely, destroyed if they're not careful. I will say for LeFlix, she tried holding the counter angle to what she was holding against the opposition, I think in like the 4th or 5th round on their T side. So it's interesting that she decided to opt in for that, especially when you know that Younger's going to be playing with the AWP, most likely. Julia going to be holding over towards his position with her teammates. That's going to be the Molotovs coming out from either side, actually. Some burn damage going to be coming through, but fantastic trade-off. Take some damage down to... That's actually only like 24 points of damage. That's nothing. It's now going to be enter on over towards the site. They've already taken care of these players, so there has to be a save come through. That's going to be a little bit of a bitter taste.
Honestly, I suspect that the reason that they were kind of hanging around towards this B entry site was because they were trying to recover the AWP. It wasn't necessarily about trying to lock down the site. It was just like the AWP was in a really awkward position. So trying to recover it was going to be tough either way. I mean, the other two players had already kind of started backing away a little bit. And then as soon as that kill came through, they were like, no, we're out of here. Ooh, dearie me. This is dangerous.
Yeah, they might be in a little bit of trouble. They do manage to get the kill, though. So some extra cash in the bank, but they are now going to be potentially pressurized even more so. It's a potentially not, I guess. Well, Julia's still going to be playing her luck. You don't really want to die in that situation. If you look at the economy here, they still want to try and build it up a little bit more, but B4 are starting to sort of run away with this. But Endgame don't bring it back somehow in this round.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is far closer than a lot of people might have expected. I did expect Endgame to do well on their very own map pick, especially with it being Vertigo, that they're so relatively well versed on. But yeah, B4 just still consistently putting up a good showing and consistently being in control. This again comes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier on, right? It's that macro play, it's that individual skill that we know that they have. And they're able to leverage that so well. A team that is quite seasoned, been playing together for quite some time. And Poppins has really been holding her own despite this being kind of her first really big event. So obviously not like way up there, absolutely popping off, but, you know, keeping her own and keeping up with the rest of the team and doing really well. On the other side, Sophia, that can't be accurate. Oh, she disconnected, right? But I felt like she was also having a bit of a rough one, just, you know, back in the first half. So, yeah.
She's actually the top performing player joined with Nami on their team, if I'm right in saying.
Okay, nice.
I don't have the fully updated stats, well. but yeah, it looks like that. Back on round, I think 20 or something. I think she was sitting on 15, 13. So she's doing pretty good. Anyway, onwards and upwards. We do obviously see a bit of a struggle by coming out from Endgame. They're going to have to make it work, otherwise they're going to lose control of this, and it was going to run away. Poppins, we mentioned her, and she has been holding her own. She's been doing very good, but Nade, on the other hand, has been leading the charge as far as I'm concerned. Along with Younger, potentially. Poppins, though, pushing up towards mid. Already taking out one of the players. May well get spotted in a shot. The Flicks. It's done a fantastic job. Quickly switches the Famous on over towards burst mode. Interesting choice, but we take it. AWP was dropped down. So Younger is dead. They may want to try and recover that. The Flicks does go down. 6 HP on her. It wasn't going to last us very long. Goddess pushing on through mid over towards the ace site. I mean, that was a little bit too close for comfort, I'm not going to lie. Sophia has got a Deagle, no upgraded weapon yet. It's going to be able to pick up a Famous. 25 bullets in the mag, so no need to try and reload this or whatsoever. We'll have to see what is going on. The bomb is going to get planted. Potentially some spam does come through. Doesn't manage to get the kill. Peeking a little bit too aggressively. It's going to get them both shut down almost instantaneously.
That was going to be a tough one for Endgame either way. You know, Sophia was running around with a Deagle there, looking to just try and find some sort of an upgrade. It wasn't a strong buy by any measure. But unfortunately, they're in a position now where something has to give. You know, they had a good start to this half. They won that pistol. They got a little bit of a streak going for themselves. And they've conceded a lot of rounds over to B4. B4 very, very strongly kind of approaching that match point position. Now, Endgame, this next round is going to be...
You only have so many bullets. Yeah.
But next round is going to be the really, really important one, right? Because if B4 win this, they're on match point, and Endgame's economy's in the drink. So this becomes one of those kind of pivotal, game-changing rounds that they really need to make something happen in. And I just hope that they haven't kind of boomed too early, because B4 have been putting up an excellent fight here. I mean, it's just felt like there's been no way to defend against the, you know, the sheer terror from the squad.
Good use of utility right off the bat. Trying to do some early denial. It's worked out. Flash combined in with those smokes is going to be able to get them a kill, but Vi goes down. Younger, with the spray through the smoke, is going to be fairly happy with herself. A little bit of an unfortunate timing for Vi trying to go in for that rotation. Out of danger. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And Poppets, they just light up. She gets a double. What an absolute beast. And that might be the turner that they really needed. They have all the advantage right now. 4v2. Tata has been spotted, chucks out a grenade, but they're going to be playing super aggressive. She's going to be playing Ring of Roses, unfortunately, straight into the ground. Nami, last one left alive, 46 HP, takes down one, but that's going to be all she wrote. A little bit unfortunate there. That's going to be the 15th round on the board here for B4.
It was a tough rotation for Tata. Like, you've got someone aggressing towards you, so she kind of rotates towards the T's, but she's in completely open area. Not quite the best movement. I think in that situation, you are kind of struggling to make a good choice as to where the heck you need to go because you know you're being aggressed on, but perhaps the better choice would have been to just take the fight. Unfortunately, she winds up in a open area. She's, you know, player down for the rest of the team. And now, as mentioned, their economy is completely busted. Match point for B4. Endgame just haven't really lived up to the hype.
All right, we're going to be seeing the early Molly going out, forcing the use of some utility. Vi goes down almost immediately. First one to go down once again in a round. The Deagles have to come through, but it's going to be Goddess. Getting the kill. Trade does come through. Julia coming ahead, knocked us under. We've got Goddess here trying to follow it up with the Molotov. A little bit of a distraction as the rest of her teammates looking to rotate on over towards the A site. Potentially up through ramp the flicks. One of the star players here, we have to say, has been absolutely fantastic to watch. On the opposite side, on B4, they've definitely got some fantastic players. Younger and Nani really leading the charge, and Younger on the T side really has been a dominant force when it comes to playing these aggressive positions. Nani, same as well, just all calm and collected. They have no real stress. Flash is going out, Molotov behind Cement. That's going to really tie them into being able to close this out and make it a 10-16 in their favor. The bomb looking to go down, a lot of damage, but Goddess just stays alive, hangs on to life. 3v4, it's not over yet. Like, it's definitely bringing this back. They're all going to be coming in from the same position. There's a Deagle on one of them. Utility in hand, though. They're going to be able to use this unionality. Nami, Flash is going to be coming out. They're going to be falling fairly fast. Sophia's going to be able to get a kill. The Smoker's going to be coming into play. Nami has to peek around the corner, stay alive, but unfortunately falls. Last player goes down.